The detox tech who had been on the job for 2 days
Mhm.
brought the house out to a beach. And while the house was at the overlooking of the rocks, he jumped in the water and was immediately hit with a riptide, which sucked him into the rocks, and he became a quadriplegic. And he's been, he's been in the hospital, and we've been trying to figure out how to get him home.
Welcome. This show empowers you to confront and overcome addiction with real stories, inspiration, and a host of resources. Our growing community supports, uplifts, and takes action to enable a new way of living. Now, F3 Recovery brings you the Super Sober Podcast. Welcome to Super Sober Podcast number 49. Thanks for all the momentum out there. It's been unbelievable with social media and all the comments on the last podcast with 48, but we're doing 49 now with an unbelievable guest. Just want to let you know we're going to get right to it. My name is Brett C. My sobriety date is 4/21/03. I'm an RN with a BSN. Been helping people with this crazy convoluted disease addiction. And then we're going to be going right to our guest. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, everybody. My name is Chad R. I'm an alcoholic. I'm the kind of alcoholic who likes to smoke crack alcoholically. My sobriety date is November 15th, 2022. It's not my first sobriety date, but it is a sobriety date that I have, and I know that to maintain it, I have to keep doing those things to keep me sober and stay sober.
That's right. What do you do, Chad?
So I wear many different hats. I work in SUD. I got sober here because I'm in Oklahoma now. I got sober in California, and after getting out of treatment, I started working in treatment. I had the privilege of being mentored by and being helped a lot by Sunday, Nohalani Casperson. And
shout out to the Magic House. Bam.
Yeah, Magic House, 1567 West Embassy Street in beautiful Anaheim.
Okay, cool. So you work in substance abuse, but we're going to get right into the beginning of this in just a minute with all of his background story. And don't forget, we're here at the podcast place in Long Beach, California. Shout out to the best in the business, Solomon, masterminding the scene as always. Bam. And we're doing it here with Chad R., an amazing story of transformation. Just wait for this one. But first, we're going to do some milestone shout outs like we do. And we only got one of them. We got Adrian with 2 years. Saw him take some sobriety yesterday. It was unbelievable. He's killing it at 2 years. And then we salute everybody in recovery, whether you got minus days, you're thinking about getting to 0 days, 1 days, 30, 60, 90, 6 months, 18, whatever it is, we salute you here at SSP. That is for sure. So we're going to get right into it with Chad R. We hadn't met, he came down here from Oklahoma he gave a call. We have been going back and forth, left and right, but we've never actually been live together. And then he moved over, he ran away, I guess, we're going to get him on the podcast. And then he had to do some traveling around, but we can remote anybody in, right? All right, Solomon, it don't matter where you are. Yeah, we got it going on. So hold on for this one. This one's going to be all about Wellbriety. And if people don't know about Wellbriety, you're about to do it. So we got an amazing story of transformation. We're going to learn about recovery because, Super Sober Podcast is a journey of inspiration, of education. We're going to be doing some videos. You don't want to miss it. Don't worry. You're going to be able to follow along as always, like SSP. You're going to be able to visually see it if you want on YouTube. But let's get into it. We're going to get to know Chad R. and we're going to get into Wellbriety. What do you think, brother?
All right. So my name's Chad. I'm in recovery. If you notice, I have an eagle feather here. This eagle feather was gifted to me, and it's for healing, but it's also my commitment to tell the truth, because what I say in front of the podcast, I also say in front of Creator. I also have some sage that I burn, and that helps me. It's one of the traditional things that I like to do. So a little bit about me. Before I get started, I have a small prayer that I'd like to read. This is the set aside prayer. My foundation is in Alcoholics Anonymous. I love Alcoholics Anonymous, and I love everything that they've taught me. And it goes like this. God, please set aside everything I think I know about this program, these steps, this book, my disease, myself, and especially you, God, for an open mind and a new experience with this program. These steps, this book, my disease, myself, and especially you, God. May I do that will always. The
Amen,
next
man.
thing that I learned when I came in was there are two types that won't recover: victims and tough guys. Victims, it's never their fault. Tough guys, you can't tell them anything. They both lack the ability to ask for help. Sunday taught me that. She was taught that by Chief at the Magic House, and it's something that I have to remember. I'm going to try to keep my story brief. As far as drunkalogs, I think everyone knows how to get loaded. I think there's a lot of people that need help with. I think there's a lot of people that need help with how we do this thing. I'm
That's
52
right. That's
years
why we
old.
do this, brother. So let's get into that
Yeah,
war story,
that's
and
right.
then we'll be teaching for a good 45 minutes straight, brother, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because the truth is that uh, you know, I never could get enough. I never, and that's the basic premise behind recovery is that recovery is a reduction model. I have to be willing to drop the rock, and I can't drop the rock if my ego gets involved, and that's the first thing that grows back when I get sober. So I grew up in the '70s. Um, my biological parents were very young, and they were on drugs, and I was adopted by an Oklahoma City police officer and his family, and I went from a very meager existence to a very good existence. What I know is that the spiritual malady was upon me at a very early age, and you know, going into clinical ease, whatever modality we want to call that trauma, we even call that nature versus nurture, whatever the whatever the clinical is, whatever the paradigm. I just know that from a very early age that I was irritable, restless, and discontent. There was something wrong with my spirit, and the behaviors I exhibited way before I picked up that first drink or that first drug were prevalent in how I conducted myself. And I always felt distant. I always felt different from other kids. And, I had a very privileged childhood, um, but I knew there was something missing because I didn't know how to connect with people. My parents did everything in their power to make me feel welcome, but I always felt different. And by the time I was 14, I had I've been kicked out of school. I went from a private school to a Christian. I mean, I went from a private school to a public school, and I had a buddy that asked me if I wanted to come over and smoke a little bit. And I was like, yeah, I didn't even know what it was, but it had such. And I'm going to date myself real quick, Brett. For those that don't know, I started getting high in the '80s, and
That was the best time,
uh,
I swear.
the thing about it is, uh, you know, I know that drugs and alcohol had such a deep impression on my psyche because I love Dr. Pepper. I can't tell you the first time I had a Dr. Pepper. I can't remember what I was doing, but it was the day before my 14th birthday. I was in Midwest City, Oklahoma. We were smoking Red Bud, that Panamanian Red Bud,
Mhm.
and we were smoking it with Randy's papers. The kind that had a little end on, had a little metal wire sticking out of it, so you could
Yeah.
smoke it all the
Uh-huh.
way
Yeah, I
down to the
remember that.
roach. We were, yeah, we were listening to Dawkins, and I became a professional Doral 100 smoker, and that's how much of an impact that chemicals had early on. And so by the time I was 17, I started experimenting with other substances until I found the first love of my life, which was crack cocaine. That's why, yeah. And I love that butter. Love that butter. And so I started smoking crack. My parents put me into a treatment center when I was 17.
Wow.
And I remember that the first thing that the treatment center had me do was they had the 12 steps. And I remember seeing God on there. And I was like, oh man, I'm not down with that. I'm not knocking religion, but I didn't mean organized religion. I've never, what they did to my people, what they've done. I had a lot of
Hmm.
resentment against some of the organized religions, and I couldn't see the forest through the trees. And so when I went to rehab, they started telling me, that I had a spiritual problem, and I thought I just had a problem with bad luck and that people wouldn't get off my bumper. And so,
And you couldn't get enough crack,
for
and there's never
several
enough crack.
years,
So,
yeah. I mean, but the lie for me was that if I just listened to all the things on MTV and all the rap music and all of the uh, the things that were going on in the late 80s, that I'd be all right. If I just had a wad full of cash, if I had a gold plated AK-47, you know, a couple of gold teeths, you know, that I'd get the respect and everything would work out. And so that attitude eventually landed me into the Department of Corrections. And my dad did everything in his power to keep me out of prison, and I just took advantage of it. And you know, uh, that's been one of the gifts that recovery has given me, as being able to look my father in the eye and make amends for that. And I make amends for that by helping other people. They're knuckleheads just like me. So anyways, in and out of prison. Um, my first bid in, I did 6 years on a 2-year sentence.
easy to pick up
So
more time doing
about year
time.
5, yeah. So
Woo.
about year 5, I'm like, there is something really wrong with this, that I'm in year 5 of my 2-year sentence. And so there were some guys that came up in Alcoholics Anonymous who brought the message to us. And I was desperate at that time to follow it. And so I got out of prison, uh, rebuilt my life, went back to college, and started on this path that became a junior GSR at my home group, and then became a GSR, and then became the chairman of my home group. And then I became a prison chaplain, uh, started 2 LLCs. Life was going good. The problem was that I thought that I had addressed all of the early childhood trauma that I had, meaning that I thought if I just did enough service work, that I didn't have to feel. And then, like I said, the first thing that grows back in my disease is my ego, edging God out. And I started taking shortcuts. I started lying about stuff. I started treating women like things and things like people, meaning that I started sleeping with newcomers. I started doing a lot of slimy stuff in sobriety, and I own that today. And because of that, uh, I ended up uh, relapsing after 6 years of continuous sobriety, working a program, sponsoring a lot of people, doing the deal, and I never saw it coming. And so I went back to prison. I was on a sick one for 12 years. Um,
Wow.
you know, the, and here's the truth, my brother. Here's the truth, that everything fits in my pipe, and when all my stuff fits in my pipe, then your stuff fits in my pipe too. And that is the insidious nature of my addiction, is that not only can I not stop, I don't have the ability to even fathom stopping, because I have an 800-pound gorilla on my back controlling me and telling me what I'm going to do, and I'm powerless over it, you know. And so after 12 years of active addiction, and I didn't think I could ever get sober again. And the reason why was, and I hope that when I say this, that there's other people that can relate to my story. That here's what happened when Creator gives us a life we never dreamed of. And there's certain responsibilities that we have. And as we navigate those responsibilities, we start getting character. We start getting things back in our community. We start being a leader. And after I became a deacon of my church, after I became a captain's chaplain through the Department of Corrections, that once I started becoming part of the solution instead of starting the problem, instead of part of the problem, um, I thought I was untouchable. I thought that
Mm.
the means justified the end. So if I just did enough service work and I just sponsored enough people, all this stuff that was crumbling inside me would be okay. And it was hard. And I got to a point where it was hard for me to be honest because everyone, I thought, this is my ego, I thought everybody in the rooms was looking me for direction, and I lost the ability to tell myself to say that those habits started coming back. The uh, uh, you know sexual promiscuity, like um, looking for release with women that are just getting sober, and
Yeah, that could be very difficult. It's
yeah,
crazy once we put ourselves kind of on a pedestal that we forget that we
right,
can still have the feelings of being just as insecure as a newcomer, even with 20 years or whatever years you got. And when things start slipping down the hill, we feel that, oh, it couldn't be me. I got 6 years sober. Or why I can't be
yeah,
going through this. I have 20 years sober. And the truth is
yeah,
that we need to just remain humble and not put ourselves on that. And the ego gets so, I can't, so many people, I'm on a super sober podcast, I'm Brett C. I do all this stuff. And it's like, bro, I'm still going through it, man. We've been talking about all the
yeah,
podcast. So I'm really glad that you brought this up. This is really why we do the podcast, is
yeah,
stories like yours that to go from 0 to 12 years back out there, it feels like you can feel the slide coming in, and it could be a
yeah,
couple months and you haven't done meetings or whatever, and you feel like you can't get back until you start getting back.
yeah,
So, man, thank you for sharing that.
yeah. So, um, and that's what I absolutely love about Chief and Sunday and the Magic House, and what I learned in California was
Well,
that
let's get into that. So
we've
you
always
got
been.
sober again. How in the hell did you end up from Oklahoma City back down here to the Magic House, right? So you want a 12-year
All right,
sickie
so
and you got here. Let's go over that real quick, sir. Talk about a big change of
okay, so
events.
man, oh man, so yeah, I was a buddy of mine when I gotten out of prison. Uh, his other half got me a job at a certain place, and even though I've made amends, um, uh, it doesn't matter with the particulars, and I'm still on paper for it. So uh, I'd gotten a job, and I was asked to uh, clean out a room. And uh, when I uh, make a long story short, uh, I got caught with a LAR, which is uh, um, a machine gun. It was chambered in 308, and I had no business having it. And I was looking at 18 years in prison. And luckily, a buddy of mine that I went to school with bonded me out, and for the
Ooh,
next 2 years, uh, I was out on bail fighting this case, and um, I called up a guy that I knew from Oxford House, uh, and he was trying to see if he wanted to get high, and he was like, "Not only do I not want to get high, you should stop getting high, and you ought to come out here to Cali to get sober." And I was like, "I don't have $80,000 or whatever," because at this point, the only people I knew that came to California were, the Passages Malibu commercial.
yep. Pax Preston, man, he'll teach you how not to be an
I
addict.
was sober I
Yeah,
was an addict for 10 years.
yeah,
Now
I'm
I'm
not now.
not,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Two
And
DUIs later.
anyway, so I didn't have that kind of money. I didn't and he was like, "No, I can help you get out here to treatment if you
Absolutely.
want to go." And so that's what I did. And I didn't know anything about treatment. The treatment before in Oklahoma was through the Department of Corrections or through a state funded entity, and it was rugged.
Oh
So
yeah.
I went out to California.
Mm.
Uh, uh, while I was in California, when I was in detox, I met some good people that I'm still friends with today. One of them was uh, James Brown. James Brown bought me this big book that I have,
Yeah, let's go.
and he taught me the M&Ms, the morning meditation. Starts off on page 24, rolls all the way out to 552, and then goes back through the book at 181, 43, and then 164. And it takes about
Okay.
30 minutes. But he taught me that. And then when I was in detox, I met a therapist, and she was unlike anyone I'd ever met. And she told me I was enough. And she said that she was starting a new class and asked if I wanted to be in it. And I didn't know what it was. I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely want to. This is me. This is what I want to do, because it was her spirit, And that class turned out to be Wellbriety. And
Wow. Talk.
when and yeah, and it was the and
Amen,
uh,
bro.
I was the first. Yeah, I was the first group of people going through it, and while I was in it, um, it awakened something in me. Like what it awakened, and I'll allude to that and to the next part. But I was adopted. I didn't know any of my past. I didn't know any of my ancestral ways. I knew that I loved fry bread, and I knew that when I heard the sacred drum,
Mm.
that it touched something.
Yes, sir. So, I
Touched
mean, you
something
said
in my
something
heart.
recently when we were talking that coincidences are God's way of staying anonymous. Man, and that hit me. I hadn't heard that
Ooh,
one
wee.
recently. And, for your
Yeah,
upbringing, and then all of that, and for
yeah,
God to circumnavigate you into Wellbriety.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And
Can
that's
you
something
deny
that
that? It gives
Sunday's
me
always
chills.
taught
I
me
mean,
is that,
so many of these things
yeah,
happening. I
yeah,
mean, what do you do now? You have to walk the path, and
and
look where you are. Unbelievable.
yeah,
Thanks for
yeah,
sharing that.
yeah. So, she used to always tell me, "Is it odd or is it God? Coincidence is Creator's way of keeping His anonymity," because
Yes.
every level that I've been on since starting. Now I want to make it real clear. My foundation's in Alcoholics Anonymous. That is where I get my service structure. That's where my program is. My spirituality is from Wellbriety, and they uh, uh, mingle very well together.
Oh, amazing. All
It's like peanut
spirituality
butter and
mingles with
jelly.
the 12 steps. Unbelievable. The
That's right.
12 steps are the
That's
greatest
right.
foundation
That's right.
for the spiritual jump, and all spiritual gurus
Yeah.
relate it to the 12 steps. And you want to get your foundation for the spiritual springboard into the fourth dimension and on into Wellbrighty or whoever it is. Amen on that. So
Yeah.
I agree 110%.
And so, yeah. But so while I was in detox, uh, I started going to the Magic House. I
Mm,
started going to my home group, Fountain Valley Alano Club. I started meeting people like you. I started meeting people like Surfer Brian. You know,
yeah.
uh, I started meeting people uh, like there's so many
Oh,
that
yeah.
I remember when I met. Uh, and I'm sometimes I can't. The guy who does the heart
Oh,
bench to
Anthony
park
Brown.
keys.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, I met Anthony through Chief,
Right.
uh, and all the heroes that I've met along the way. From Fountain Valley Lano Club,
Hmm.
um, you know, and different people. But while I was in treatment, is that Sunday taught me that what I put into it's what I'm going to get out of it. She's like, you see people that are just hanging out.
Mm.
They're just hanging out, and pretty soon they're going to be out of treatment. And if you don't have any foundation built in the program, if you're not accountable, if you don't have a sponsor, if you're not working the steps, if you're not doing the deal, then it ain't going to work.
Yeah. If you're hanging out,
So
it's easy to
very,
get out.
yeah, yeah. If I hang out at the barbershop long enough,
Yeah.
gonna get my hair cut. And so I get out of treatment, um, and I'm like 49 years old. I broke my back in a life changing car wreck. It was my fault. It was my fault. And there weren't a lot of options open to me, so I did what most of the Oklahomies do. I
Oklahomies.
became a house manager.
Right.
Yeah, we ran through there. We
Woo.
ran through there deep.
I love it.
So I became a house manager and then started working in SUD. I started out as a knock shift tech at a detox. Uh,
SUG, just for
and then
clarification, is substance use disorder people. Go ahead.
yes, it makes it sound real clinical. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
S period, U period, D period.
so I started working in rehab, and I went from and like most people, I was taught four things. And this is, if you're going to work in treatment, you have to abide by these four things.
Yes.
And that is, you don't put your hands on people, you don't sleep with the clients, you don't body broke, don't put the pookie to your mouth. And if you can do those four things, you're going to have a career.
What's
But
number three?
inevitably,
What was number 3 again? Solomon wants to know.
don't body broke.
What does that mean?
Don't pay people to come to treatment. Don't sell people into recovery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
Don't
immoral.
use the
It's
insurance,
illegal.
undercover, kind of stuff to get people
Yeah.
moving in and out, which is a huge
And that
crackdown.
yeah, and that hits on so many different levels.
Oh, it's brutal.
That Yeah, but basically, it's at that time it was the get down was if you relapse, you can come back into treatment, and I'll give you a couple $1,000 allegedly. And I'm so glad that I didn't know anything about treatment before I came out to California, because I would have been a sucker for it. I absolutely would have been a sucker for uh, getting paid to come back to treatment and being a snowbird where they just go
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah. Keeping that defeat on repeat. Woo.
Oh, say it again. Say it again.
I said the defeat on repeat.
Putting the defeat on. That could be a T-shirt, brother.
Oh, I know,
could
bro.
be a
I call it
t-shirt.
the negative feedback loop, man. People are on defeat, repeat, detox,
Yeah.
retox,
So-
detox, retox. Yeah, it's a shirts. We got a lot of ideas for shirts like that.
Yeah. So I started working up from there. And along the way, I had a lot of good people tell me, don't mix up your occupation with your recovery. 'Cause
Absolutely. That should have been the
there's
fifth one. That's the first one I learned.
Yeah, just because I'm working in treatment
No,
doesn't mean that that's what's keeping me sober.
absolutely
And
not. Working in treatment will
and
just
that's where
drain you.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that I love that Sunday did for all of us, is that she helped us go to sweat, and she taught us that spiritual cleansing is a necessity. And I had a great boss. My boss was Jacob Cantrell, and he allowed me and Bryce to always go to sweat. And gave us a van, paid for gas because, being house managers, we weren't making any money, you know? So eventually I started going back to school, and, my life keeps getting better and better. And that's the short skinny of it. I mean, the more that I apply myself to what Creator wants me to do, which is outlined in the third step, that having had a new employer who's all powerful, he provided what I needed if I kept close to Creator and I performed Creator's work well. And so for that means that I have to be clean and sober off the top, and I have to be willing to sacrifice my time to help other people. And that don't just mean sponsoring people. It means taking people to meetings. It means putting up chairs. It means being part of the service structure. And if I do that, as long as I put my program first, everything I put second's first class.
Amen, bro. Well, we're halfway through the podcast. It's going quick. It's unbelievable. I hope people are listening to all these nuggets, man, especially those that work in treatment and the Oklahomies and all back and forth. But we're going to go to our commercial break here. If anybody needs any help, you call this number at 877-345-4138. And that number again is 877-345-4138. And that is His House New Creation. Man, they are helping everybody out there. We'll be right back in just a minute.
At Embrace Life Change, your journey to mental wellness begins in a place where understanding meets action, where care is personalized and recovery is achievable. With over 30 years of experience, our expert team offers a range of evidence-based treatments tailored to each individual's needs. From anxiety and depression to complex psychiatric disorders, our comprehensive approach includes cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness practices, and innovative programs designed for deep healing. Our small treatment groups ensure personalized care, fostering stronger connections, and a supportive community that empowers your recovery journey. Hear from those who've embraced change and found hope, healing, and a path to a better life with us. Embrace Light Change is more than a treatment center. It is a place where lasting change begins. If you or someone you love is seeking help, call us first. Let's take that first step together towards a brighter future. Embrace Light Change, nurturing mental health, where hope and healing meet.
And we're back with Chad R. Unbelievable story coming up in the back and forth, 2 different stances of sobriety, how to work in treatment. Man, is it odd or is it God? Man, and the full circle coming back and forth and going back from when he was adopted by a police officer and his parents were struggling with substance abuse. He has a tribal background. I'm into everything. I've always had my heart into Indians and tribal and Mother Earth. I mean, my spiritual animal's an eagle. He's got an eagle feather. At one point in my disease, I had eagles everywhere around me. And then I read it that my spiritual animal was an eagle. I just look at around and well, that makes sense. And, I was so wrapped up in my disease though. But I married, she's of the 3 affiliated tribes of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Iroquois out of North Dakota. And we know that all of the reservations are just riddled with addiction. We know about the fire water and the terrible atrocities of the plight of the American Indians, and none so than the people that know about the history of that and how much forgiveness and how much of people have moved forward. And then we have this Wellbriety movement that God channeled and moved him all the way around. It's just so crazy when you hear our stories and then how we come out on the other end. And to get to the spiritual side and you to dig deep, we're going to go into the last half of this podcast, segueing into Wellbriety. We've done a lot of the inspiration in here of his story. So Wellbriety, The movement of Wellbriety is a holistic addiction recovery approach for indigenous communities that pairs sobriety with cultural revitalization. Founded in 1988 by Don Coyas, it integrates traditional Native American healing practices like talking circles and the medicine wheel with the traditional 12-step model. Some bullet points with Wellbriety is of the holistic concept. Wellbriety combines substance sobriety with emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual wellness. Cultural integration. It blends traditional 12-step recovery models with Native American values and the medicine wheel. Trauma healing. The movement addresses integrational and historical trauma as root causes of substance abuse. Community focus. It aims to heal entire families and communities, not just the individual. Peer leadership. Trained facilitators and support networks help individuals transition safely back into their communities. And Chad just did his 4th training, as a matter of fact. So we're going to segue right into this. Go ahead and lead us into the prayer of the Great Spirit, Chad.
O great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the winds, and whose breath gives life to all the world, hear me. I am small and weak. I need your strength and wisdom. Let me walk in beauty and make my eyes ever behold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things you have made, and my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make me wise so I may understand the things you have taught my people. Let me hear the lessons you have hidden under every leaf and rock. I need strength, not to be greater than my brother or sister, but to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me always ready to come to you with clean hands and straight eyes, so when life fades as the fading sunset, my spirit may come to you without shame. Oh.
Amazing, man. Amazing stuff. So we love it. It's crazy, just a little before we get into that. I've never done a sweat, and one of my nicknames growing up was Sweat Brett. So, and I have another good friend of mine who goes into South Dakota every year for the grass dance and does like a week-long sweat. We did a Wellbriety meeting one time when we were at the Paula Casino. Right across from the Paula Casino here is the Paula Indian tribe, and they have a center right across the street, and they have weekly Wellbriety meetings there. We all circled up, did the prayer of the Great Spirit. Super powerful, super cool stuff. So let's get into the Wellbriety and do some education so we could let people know, and especially the tribal people. If you haven't read a book from Joseph Unger, I wanted to do a quick shout out to Joseph Unger's book called Tribe. It is an unbelievable, easy read, so impactful, and why the tribes and the tribal life is so beneficial and how people can come together. So let's go ahead and hit it there, Chad.
All right. So this is our basic text. This is the Red Road to Wellbriety. And you'll notice on there that there is a medicine wheel. And the medicine wheel has the 4 colors. And the 4 colors symbolize that it's all nations come together. The Asian community, the Native American community, the African American community, and the Caucasian community.
Let's go.
And so Wellbriety is, and I want to be clear on this, that I'm not the end all be all on Native American culture. As shocking as this may seem, that I am of mixed blood, I'm undocumented, I am unregistered, I have no pedigree. Because I was adopted, I'm still trying to trace the roots of my family lineage. It's been hard, but when I came in, I was told that I was enough, that this is a program that helps everybody. We use traditional Native American ways, and that was important for me because I just wanted to belong. And so Don Coyas founded Wellbriety. He got sober in AA, and he found that there was a disproportionate amount of Native women and women of ethnicity that were in prison for petty drug crimes. And so the movement was started in a women's prison, and it went to the reservations. the reservations allowed us, the movement, to start coming out into public. It is so, and it's been growing. It's a grassroots movement that's peer driven. I'm a fire starter. Um, I have I'm certified in 5 courses. I went through my favorite course is Warrior Down, which is recovery coach training. I went through that twice. Um, but all that being said, my whole thing is I'm just a cat trying to show the other cats where the tuna is, and I don't speak for anyone other than myself when I talk about my journey on the red road, and that is um, when all other methods of trying to get sober and stay sober failed, I went back to my ancestral roots, and doing that, I found a way of life that works for me. Wellbriety is rooted in circles and in the medicine, and that is baby, youth, adult, elder. And so, with the medicine wheel, uh, what happened to me as a baby had to be addressed
Mm.
so that I could correct that, and it also correlates with the 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. My first year, I was in the springtime. I was a seed that was planted. I was taken out of the sick forest, which was Oklahoma, and the streets, and I was placed in the nursery in California. And while I was there, my roots took on new soil. And that's when I met you. That's when I met Surfer Brian. That's when I met Sunday Chief, and a lot of other good people that helped me along the road. And
Yeah, the
so
environment,
the
the
first
fertile
year is the
soil.
springtime. hmm And the first year was the springtime. That was when my seeds was planted and started to grow. And what I know now, because the first year was hard, and anyone who's watching this, if you're in sober living, if you're in treatment, or if you're barely getting by, getting out of treatment, working in treatment, that uh, conflict precedes clarity. That anything that wants to grow has to struggle to do so. If like a butterfly in the cocoon, if someone rips open that cocoon, the butterfly's wings will never be strong enough to fly on its own. And so what what we believe is that get happy when there's a conflict, because through that struggle, you're going to grow and you're going to nurture and you're going to thrive from that. So the first year was the springtime, and that's when my seed grew. The second year was the summer. That's when the tree took shape. That's when most of us we start getting a little bit better job. The get well job starts branching out to where we start getting some more responsibilities. And then the third year, and this is where, if you're struggling right now, remember that if you're like me, that I didn't become a crackhead overnight. I mean, there were several years when I was in junior high school and high school, and I'm going to date myself when I say this, Brett. I'm going to date myself when I say this, but it was like it was like a rock video. It was like everyone had wild hair. We were all just kind of smoking and drinking. Everything was cool. And that's the illusion that everything's going to be all right and it's going to stay like that. But uh, just like everything didn't immediately go wrong in my addiction, everything didn't immediately go right in my recovery. You know, it,
Amen.
it,
For sure.
it, and so I think that's one thing that we in recovery have to be careful of, is we see these people, they're usually on social media and they look like they have this glamorous life that, I've got 90 days of sobriety. They got their ripped up arms and they've got the perfect girlfriend. I have all the cool tattoos, and life is just going great. They're running 5K marathons. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that could be a sign that you're supposed to gift me that, Brett.
Hmm.
What's that? Yeah.
I said that may be a sign you're supposed to gift me that when it falls.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Don't worry. We're gonna get you some for sure.
Okay.
That's for
But
sure.
and so it time to, and that's when I love Surfer Brian when he says time takes time.
Yeah.
This I must earn.
Yeah. This is
You
I
know,
must earn. Exactly.
yeah, that's what time stands for. If you don't think so, try getting some.
Yeah.
So it took 3 years before I had a decent car, and I had a res pony. I've always had res ponies, and but it took 3 years of struggling because of everything I'd done in my past. I let my credit go to nothing. I uh, chose for decades not to advance myself in any type of career field. I chose to drop out of high school. I chose to drop out of college. I chose to spend 9 years in prison. So, because of all that, I show up sober to the job market. And guess what? I don't have any job skills. I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to take direction, and I want everything given to me because it was given to me in the dope game. When I was in the dope game, uh, my sack was my credit card,
Yep.
and all of a sudden I get sober, and I don't have a driver's. Well, I had a driver's license, but um, I don't have insurance. I don't have any of this stuff, and it takes time to build all that up. But if I'm watching social media and I'm seeing all these people in these commercials where they're living their best life, living in a $3 million home, driving a $600,000 car, that's not realistic. That's not realistic. And realistically, I'm going to be in sober living. I'm going to be struggling, and I'm going to be working a lot to pay the bills because I chose to live so long in the shadows. And so now that I'm rebuilding my life, it's going to take a while. So the third year is the fall, and that is when the fruit is on the tree. And now I'm in my fourth year. I'm coming into my fourth year, and that's the winter. That's when all the leaves fall off. That's the spiritual transformation. That's a time of rest and renewal. And you know, my story proves that I'm on the path. The first year, all I did was work and go to meetings. The second year, I started getting educated. I started getting into Wellbriety and learning how to facilitate groups. The third year, that's when I had the privilege of running the Wellbriety program uh, at a treatment center, and then I became a program director. And then just as soon as all that happened, the fourth year came around, and the leaves started falling off. I started looking at what I really want to do, and my morals have to be intact. And if I'm involved in a company or I'm involved with any type of agency, and they're not doing things right, that I have to step away from that. And I'm so very grateful for Andrea Alexander, my white bison mentor, for Sunday, and for the people I've met in Wellbriety who have taught me that not everything is worth money. That there are things that I get in recovery that I can't buy at Walmart, and I can't have shipped to me through Amazon. And I'm learning that. I'm
That's
still I'm
great
still a
how
work in
you went through that. I mean, we know that you're newcomer for the first 5 years. I hope people were listening to this 4 year cycle going through it. I mean, there's so
yeah.
much, we call it spiritual disruption, the crumble in the void, and how you
Mm.
break it down in Wellbriety. It's so in your face. And a lot of times you don't hear that. I mean, I was raised on your newcomer for your first 5 years. You buckle
Me
up,
too.
and
Me
here's
too.
what's going on. And you broke it down so eloquently. I mean, I
Yeah.
love it. AA is, they'll tell you they're not the only ones in town. So
Mhm.
wherever it is, I mean, I'm stealing that one. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
much wisdom and so many different programs. It's evolved. I've just seen the tree of recovery. It's just another leaf, another strong branch of it, another way to envelop the 12 steps, and you brought up social media. Thank God you did on that. Avoidance, right? I mean, you're more spending more time in the gym than healing the nurturing
Yeah.
part, and going and digging deep and practicing the 12 steps. We see it all the time. You can't just keep running away. It's a triangle for a reason. But we're going to go to a video really quick. Can we go to that first video there, Solomon?
Hello, I'm Thomas. I've been in a life-changing accident, and I've been here in California. I'm from Oklahoma, and it'd be nice to get back home. And I'd appreciate anybody that could help me in that aspect.
That was a quick video of someone named Thomas Kuntz, and that's how we first met. So it's crazy that we came full circle in this situation, right? And this is an advocacy part. Chad called me and asked about this situation that was an unfortunate trail of events of someone that was in detox, and they took him down to the beach, and he ended up almost drowning and dying, and then he's still here. So let's just spend a couple minutes on that really quick, because that was one of the things that you wanted to hit on, probably like 2 years ago when you gave me that call to put the advocacy out there. And, Chad's been a champion in a lot of different areas that I could tell that I've been following him, and the people and the names he's been throwing out. And we still hadn't even met yet, and he's still on the podcast. But let's take a couple minutes before we wind down here and don't get to it on this guy, Thomas Kuntz. Can you just kind of us a little bit about it? And maybe if someone's listening, maybe they can help facilitate and get him back home.
The woman who gifted me this feather is related to Thomas Kuntz, and
Wow.
She called my mentor, Andrea Alexander, and asked if we could have someone come and visit him. And I visit a lot of people in the hospital. It's part of, what I do. I didn't realize what was going on. I thought he was in the hospital. And so I get to this nursing home, and this is my Cheyenne Arapaho brother that came out here to treatment. And while he was in residential, the detox tech who had been on the job for 2 days brought the house out to a beach. And while the house was at the overlooking of the rocks, he jumped in the water and was immediately hit with a riptide, which sucked him into the rocks, and he became a quadriplegic. And he's been, he's been in the hospital, and we've been trying to figure out how to get him home. And, I reached out to you, Brett, to figure out what we can do. And
we're just going to have to rig up a van or something and roll, that's where he wants to be or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of complications.
I know logistics and stuff, but he's got the trach, and any shout out to any medical professionals. I'm a nurse. Maybe we can circle back and get this going. It's been a while. It's been like a couple of years or something. And I thought in my mind that you guys had already got him back the last time we had talked. You were looking into a place that was maybe going to do it. But I understand most people aren't going to want to touch anything due to liability and lawsuits and everything. But there's got to be something we can do. We'll circle back at this at some point.
Yeah, I want to give a shout to Dominique and Heights. They're in California. They're also part of the movement, and they have done everything to help Tommy. Everything. And I love you both for that. You know,
I mean,
and
trach care is pretty easy. I mean, a standard for medical and nursing and stuff, depending on what it is. But maybe we'll talk after coming
okay.
up for sure. So you visit him. Are you still here in California? You still go and see him, or you were, because now you went from here to Montana, right? And then now you're back home in Oklahoma City doing all of this. So you got, let's just do one question here. How has it been for your sobriety moving around? I remember we talked a couple times and you were like, oh, you come out here. A lot of people go through this. I just want to touch on it. They come out here to this unbelievable sobriety that we have going on here, and all the connection, the community, everything that you had going on, all the different clubs and the Magic House every Sunday night, and just everybody gathering up and just tearing up recovery and integrating everything in between. And then you go to a different place, and it, of course it's not the same, but even other people that have different places, when they move, it's hard for them to sink back into recovery. So this is a common occurring question that we have on Super Sober Podcast. So how has it been for you doing and adjusting on these 3 different moves after leaving here?
So I still call my home group the Fountain Valley Lano Club. There's an elder there named Mean Gene. And when you would get there, this is the 8:30 meeting. And when you get there, he'd say, hey, newcomer, how many keys you got? And they'd kind of, you know, they're in detox. They don't know how many keys. They don't even know what keys are. And he'd be like, when's the last time you bought toilet paper? And they'd kind of look at him crazy. He's like, well, how about you shut up and sit down and learn something? And so that was my
good old school stuff.
Yeah, so that was my introduction, and I love it. Again, some people love it, some people don't, but that was what I needed, because I suffer from being hip, slick, and cool. So, so that was what my home group was like in California. Our home group, it's called the Misfits Group in Anaheim, that Toya started with Sunday, and it's one of the biggest groups, if not the biggest group, on Turtle Island. You know, and so a lot of fellowship, a lot of people, a lot of movement. And so when I moved to Montana, I went from, California has 40 million people. It's the mecca of recovery, in my opinion. I go to Montana, and it's 1 million people. And so the meetings were a lot smaller. And one of the things that Big Book says that Wellbriety also touches on is that change comes from within. Before any development can occur, it must be preceded by a vision. Then a great learning must occur, and then I must create a healing forest. And so that goes in tandem with what the Big Book says, that I have to create the fellowship that I crave. And so that's what is being developed as we speak in real time with my brother Cody Edge in Montana. He's doing that with Wellbriety. So I get back to Oklahoma, and I'm adopted into the Cheyenne Arapaho family. And if anyone has a problem with that, just speak to my nephew, Dave Levi. He answers all those questions. He's in one of those videos, but they've got a good, thriving recovery network going. And so I just fall in line with them. I'm also part of Medicine Tribe, Sober Squad, and IFS. And those are some of the movements we have in Wellbriety in Oklahoma.
Amazing. Thank you for breaking that down really quick. We're on the end of it. We had so much to do, right, as every podcast, but we're on the end of this one. We want to do a shout out. We want to do a definite another shout out to Wellbriety and Chad R. And hopefully we can get some momentum on Thomas Kuntz. But, we're going to do it right here. We're going to shout it out. We got a couple emails at info@f3recovery.org. We got info@supersoberpodcast.org. We have a new product here, the recovery time links. These are your miracles displayed in a new way. We are currently promoting those at pop-ups. We have a website. This is a new invention created by people in recovery for recovery. You can see it at recoverytimelinks.com. You never forget how far you come. This is an at-home recovery display. Get your chips out of those drawers. They're more beautiful than they've ever been. We're on all listening platforms. We're you want to see the video that we're doing, we're on YouTube, Instagram. We have a Instagram page, a TikTok. We're on Facebook, our group page at F3 Recovery. Huge momentum go. And don't forget about the Detox, the first streaming series, the story of addiction, the deadliest disease that man has ever known. And don't forget about Notorious JID back here, the first mascot of recovery. We got a one-stop and shop of everything of F3 Recovery, Super Sober Podcast, Recovery Time Links, the Detox, everything going on. We welcome all forms of recovery. And thank you. Just another heartfelt, we will keep in touch, Chad, for sure. Thanks for breaking it down. I hope the listeners really incorporate and move on to their spiritual journey. If the heart tugs, they say we are in big trouble if we fail to enlarge on our spiritual program. So I'm always working on that. And please do it. You know, people are so bad on social media now. Don't click into the wrong feed. The next thing they'll try to talk you out that stop loving people and stop helping people, and the AA and the 12 steps don't work, and it's so much bullshit. You know, we did the fall of alcohol on one of the podcasts. You know, they're down $1 trillion almost the last 4 years. They're going to do everything to put misinformation out there to get you disillusioned. And the truth is that we got another amazing story of transformation. We are out here doing it every single day. And if you find yourself disillusioned in what I call the addiction creation machine or the fear factory, which is our society, man, it's time to pull back out and get to an awesome program like you have. Any last word we got here?
I know that what Wellbriety has taught me is that connection is the opposite of addiction, and that the solution's in the culture. I found that culture in my Native American roots. I know that creator is easily found if I'm just willing to submit. The defeated cannot negotiate their terms of surrender. If I'm done, I'm done. And I'm telling you right now, brother, I'm done. Just for today, I'm done.
Amen, brother. Thanks again. And we'll keep in touch. And as always on Super Sober Podcast, keep on keeping on. Thank you for listening to the Super Sober Podcast. Go to our website at f3recovery.org. That's F3Recovery, all one word, .org. We're turning fight, flight, and freeze into free form and flow through practicing the 12 steps and staying accountable to change. Don't forget to keep on keeping on.